Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got this new helmet from 509. It is the Delta R4 Ignite. So it's got the heated visor and everything on it. And so this sled, of course, does not have a 12-volt port from the factory, but 509 does give you the wiring to connect it to your sled, and so that way you can get power to your visor. So my sled does not have a battery from the factory. That's kind of what the wiring 509 gives you, is assuming that you will have. You've got a positive and negative terminal here, and that's just so that way you can hook it straight to your battery and be good to go. So since I don't have that, SkiDoo has a factory plug that's up underneath, kind of behind the headlights and underneath this console here, and you can go into that. I know SkiDoo does sell a factory plug that you can plug into that, and it basically just goes right into one of these prongs that look almost like a speaker type cable, but I don't have that plug, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm guessing it's going to be a 2-wire plug. If it is, I'm just going to go ahead and chop these 2 terminals off and just directly splice it to that harness. So we'll go ahead and get to it and show you guys how it's done. First thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and get this windshield, which really isn't much of a windshield, but it's the low profile windshield. We're going to go ahead and take that off of the sled. And so to get that off, it's not bolted or anything. It just kind of has some, you can see here, these sort of pins that hold it in to these rubber grommets. That's all that's holding that on there. So now we got that off, we'll go ahead and set that to the side. And you can see on the sled, we've got these silver colored Torx bolts. You got 4 here, and then there's also 2 kind of behind your gauge cluster right here and here. So all 6 of those are going to have to come out. That's what we're going to do next. So we got all 6 of the bolts out. Something just to note, the 2 that go behind your instrument cluster are slightly longer than the 4 that go up here on the front of the windshield. So just something to keep in mind when you go to put these back in. Now that all our bolts are off, we're going to gently pull this up, and you can see here we've got our wiring harness for our instrument cluster. So we're going to go ahead and unclip that. Our instrument cluster is free. We'll go ahead and set that to the side as well. So now you guys can kind of see where we're at. So here's our glove box, goggle warmer, whatever you want to call it. Looks like I got a little candy bar here I forgot about. That'll be nice for later. And then if you come right behind that, you're going to see this plug right here. And so that's the one I was talking about. As you can see, you got a black and a red wire there. So it's kind of what I was figuring it would be. I'm going to go ahead and kind of pull that out, and then we'll chop this plug off. And I'm going to try to chop it off enough to where I can still use it later if I wanted to re-put it on there. But I really don't see a need for that. This is just going to be for my heated visor, and then I'm going to splice those 2 wires that I was talking about right to those ends there. So I got the plug pulled out, and obviously it is cut off now, and we got the wires trimmed back, so we're ready to splice it in. Got my heat shrink butt connectors here for this new piece of wire that is going to connect to the helmet. So we'll go ahead and crimp these down. Okay, so we got our connections all done. The wires kind of ran back through here behind the headlight again, and then it comes up through the front here where they made a little factory hole where you could put the 12-volt port. So we got it coming up through there. I think I'm going to try to put this plug back in there, maybe kind of notch it out, just so that way there shouldn't really get any snow behind there anyway, but just to kind of make sure. And other than that, we're going to go ahead and put the instrument cluster back on and our glove box, and then we'll kind of see where we need to run the rest of this. I think we got quite a bit of extra wire, so we'll kind of tuck some back here in the glove box. That way there's not too much feeding up toward where I'll be riding, but yeah, they give you quite a bit of extra wire anyway, so. Now everything's back in place. So inside our glove box, we got our cable that comes out for our helmet, and they give you 2 other pieces of wire. So you got this one that's kind of got this coiled part stretches there, that's the part that you're going to go ahead and plug into your helmet. And then they give you another little length of cable here too. So like I said, I don't think we're going to need quite all of it, but probably end up kind of tying this off somewhere here. Maybe somewhere up here on the handlebar, I don't know. Kind of have to just play around with it and see where it's going to work best without just completely getting in the way. But anyway, yeah, that's how it's going to work, guys. This other piece will just plug right into here. Then on your helmet, you got this dummy plug here on the side, so that just pops out. And then you just plug your cable in right there, and as long as your machine's running, you'll have heat to the visor, keep it from icing up. Pretty cool design and everything. It's just kind of a pain if you don't know what you're looking at on these sleds that don't have a battery. It can get pretty confusing. So that's all I got for you guys in this video. Hopefully it helped you guys out. If you got a better way of hooking one of these up, be sure and let everybody know in the comments. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.